got new basketball coach? He coached the girls last year? Oh, who did he?
He was at Bluefield last year.
Where?
He was at Bluefield last year.
Did Justin get a new job or he just got your time ago? After you doing YouTube?
This on your playlist?
No, this ain't my playlist.
Oh.
I like the song.
He gonna be on YouTube.
Who sing the song?
Two girls can't sing.
I'll just check him out. Just check him out.
Hey, man.
Bro, I'll be having to check. You know, y'all different. You know what I'm saying? I understand. But just in case, you know what I'm saying? Where was you when this song came out? Exactly. So you gotta check. You gotta check.
I've been around though.
I like that. I like the sound of that, brother. Look, no disrespect. Sometimes you just gotta check people's card. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they.
You ain't gotta pull mine.
Yeah, make sure they who they say they are. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Because we're amongst the people, so you gotta. I feel you. You gotta pull it out of them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pull it out of them. Sometimes y'all lose your way. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure.
I like the spell.
Huh?
My girl with the spell.
Hey. Say less then. Happy homecoming. Say less.
This time, please stand and move your caps for the playing of the national anthem. And I'm just starting up. What about Dalton State? At guard, number 0, Briggs Jr. At guard, Number 3, Brandon Aaron. Number 4, senior. Number 4, Waylon Pettis. The guard spot, junior. Number 11, Coden Benson. At forward is junior number 12, Trip Hickey. Dalton State's coach and head coach, Alex Ireland, assistant by Dalton and Robert Blair. And now the Johnson Royal, University Royals. At forward, senior number 1, Mason Lockhart. Guard spot. Senior number 3, Jamar Brown. At guard, senior number 5, Jacoby Strozier. At the sophomore number 10, Hayden Wendell. And at wing, junior number 15, Mateo Escamilla Martin. Royals of Johnson University coached by Coach Logan Sharp.
Hello everyone and welcome to the inaugural edition of the Canyons Classic here at Reinhardt University. We're in the Brown Athletics Center in Waleska, Georgia. Our game 1 of the Canyons Classic will feature the Johnson Royals and the 18th ranked Dalton State Road Runners. Should be a phenomenal game starting off early inside. It won't go. Dalton State, a top 25 team, a team that was able to make it to the NAIA National Tournament, 2 national tournament qualifiers in this matchup. It'll be a nice early test for both of these squads. Starters for Dalton State: Briggs, Berrien, Pettis, Beatty. Meanwhile for Johnson, Lockhart, Brown, Strozier, Wendell, and Martin. So we're going to get an early chance to see Johnson first time this year. They will be a team that Reinhardt will play later this season. Corner three-pointer will go for Dalton State. That's number 11, Coda Benson. Benson from downtown getting the scoring started for the Roadrunners. For Johnson, one of the early favorites in the Appalachian Athletic Conference, of course led by the big man in the middle, number 1, Mason Lockhart. Forward from Atlanta, Georgia. Mason Lockhart, one of the very best players in the Appalachian Athletic Conference, and somebody that you know that Johnson is going to try to go to early and often. But the Roadrunners will not be afraid. Last season, Dalton State going 24-7 a year ago. Plenty of returning talent as well, but they are without one of their better players as Lockhart finishes inside for the deuce. They are without one of their better players in Omarion Smith. He was their second leading returning scorer. So without him, we'll see who picks up the slack. You see Johnson already going to Lockhart early. That's going to be a difficult matchup for the bigs inside for Dalton State. Have guys who can match up vertically with Lockhart, but Lockhart a big body in the middle, someone who's very difficult to move off of his spot. A physical presence. We'll see how Dalton State decides to try to attack him on both sides of the ball. Another three-point attempt here for Dalton State. Dalton State getting them up. The Roadrunners, that's not just a nickname for them. That is how they play. They put up 124 points in their first game against Oakwood, a win 124-88. They want to try to get out and run. Three-pointer in the corner will go for the Johnson Royals. That's number 10, Caden Wendell from downtown. So Johnson with an early 5-3 lead. But Dalton State, led by head coach Alex Ireland, they want to try to get up and down. They're going to put up threes. They're going to get up early and often. And that's a deuce there. Nice attack from Dalton State. Number 3, Raylan Berrien. He had to switch with Lockhart. And the turnover. And here come the Road Runners. Road running, getting up court. Almost a turnover, and it will be a turnover. The ball is loose. Dalton State retains possession. Inside against Lockhart, and a nice finish from Jerron Briggs. Briggs attacking Mount Lockhart and finishing inside. So we're going to see it's going to be that type of game. It's going to be up and down, fast-paced. Johnson not afraid to mix it up when it comes to pushing the tempo. Dalton State, of course, the Road Runners, that's their game. So a nice finish inside for Martin, and it's 7-7. Folks, stay tuned for the second game of our doubleheader. We will have Reinhardt against number 15, Ave Maria, right after this one, as we see another nice finish inside for Coda Benson. Benson attacking using the dribble penetration. We'll see what Johnson will do against him as this game goes on if they try to converge on him and force him to kick out the shooters. Wide open three-pointer in the corner will go down for Martin. So Martin 2 threes early in this one, both from the corner. It's 10-9 advantage Royals. Dalton State trying to get into an offensive set here. Briggs dribbling, trying to get the switch on Lockhart. Lockhart tips it, but can't get it. But the layup will not go for Trip Beatty. Beatty had a nice lane inside, but could not get it to go. And we see early on what the point of attack will be for Dalton State, trying to get Mason Lockhart on the perimeter, switched on to some of those guards, and see if they can attack without him being in the paint. Another three-point attempt for Martin, and it won't go. That was a heat check there. He had to take it. Knocking 2 in a row, see if he can get 3 for $1. Nice attack there. Number 4, Quaylen Pettis. Pettis last season, 14 points per game for Dalton State. Their leading returning scorer. Mid-range J will not go down. Pettis with the rebound. And here comes the Road Runners again, trying to push the pace. Bitten, nice in and out dribble. Martin against Pettis. Martin inside, takes the bump and finishes through the contact. Johnson goes back up by 1. Johnson right outside the top 25. They were receiving votes in the inaugural edition of the poll. A victory against one of these ranked opponents, Dalton State being 18th, Ave Maria being 15th, can surely see them make their way into the top 25. That is a stated goal that they have. You know that their head coach, Logan Sharp, has definitely tried to emphasize the fact that they can boost their resume with a few nice victories here in Waleska this weekend. The point guard, Berrien. Martin thought about taking the 3, tries to dump it inside to Lockhart. Lockhart goes down, and a turnover for Johnson. Inside, attacking, rejected by Martin. The action is fast and furious here in the early going. We're going to take a quick breather early on. It's a 13-12 lead in favor of the Road Runners. Welcome back to the Brown Athletic Center here in Waleska, Georgia. The Dalton State Road Runners so far out in front against the Johnson Royals by a score of 13-12. Action has been fast and furious early on, and we see sort of the effects that can have in the early stages. Mason Lockhart, the heralded big man for the AAC Power Johnson Royals, already on the bench getting a break. And when you have a talented big inside, one thing that you can do, not just trying to neutralize him defensively, not just trying to make him work on the other end, but Dalton State using tempo, trying to use pace to force him to get up and down. And bigs, one thing they don't want to do is they don't want to play faster than the tempo that they want to dictate. So Lockhart already on the bench trying to get a breather. Inside, Martin gets fouled. Whistle will go against number 3, Raylan Berrien. Ben Underwood, the grad student, in place of Lockhart for the Royals. Also number 11, Livingston Cross, entered the game for the Royals as well. The jumper won't go. Ben Underwood had a really nice game against Reinhardt last season. He was a member of the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs. Ben Underwood was a large reason why Union was able to come into the Brown Athletic Center 1 year ago and take down the hometown Eagles. So some friendly confines for him. Berrien's gonna hit Benson. Benson trying to attack. Pass inside, that's number 32, Geiger. The attack for Berrien won't go, and Cross with the board. Cross pushing, Cross penetrating, inside, and the deuce will go. Livingston Cross, his first 2 points of the game, an early deuce puts Johnson back on top. And now a zone look here for the Johnson Royals, a matchup zone, sort of. 1-2-2 type of defensive set, it looks like for them. Man in the corner, and he will finish. That was a nice scoop layup from Quaylen Pettis. Pettis will try to get downhill and get inside, force the defense to converge. Him and Benson early on getting some paint touches for the Roadrunners. Underwood in the corner, three-pointer, it's true. Ben Underwood from downtown, and that's what he can do, folks. He's a big man. He plays that 4 and 5 spot, but he offers a ton of versatility scheme-wise because of his ability to shoot the ball from deep. So Ben Underwood knocking down the three, his first 3 points of the ball game. We'll have a few new players inserted into the game on both sides. The score right now is 17-15 in favor of the Johnson Royals. Inbounding the ball, number 15, Miles Sabalos, who's entered the game for the Roadrunners. Also number 20, Santonio McDaniel in the game for the first time. Meanwhile, for Johnson, Caden Wendell has re-entered. Able to get it in right before that 5 count. Again, Johnson in this matchup zone look. They're trying to cut off some of those driving lanes that were open early and often for the Roadrunners. Benson can't get the mid-range shot to fall, and Wendell with the rebound. We already see some of the effects of that matchup zone. Dalton State, they were getting paint touches nearly every single time down the floor. Underwood, another 3. Can't get this one to go. And here's what the Roadrunners want to do. They want to try to push the pace. They get it out ahead, and it's rejected. What a rejection there. Number 5, Jacoby Strozier with the block. Jacoby Strozier says no. What a rejection for the Johnson Royals, and defensively they're starting to tighten the screws up again. It seemed like every time down in the earlier stages, Dalton State, they were getting a paint touch with their guards. Now going into a matchup zone look, using some trapping mechanisms, trying to force Dalton State to beat them more from the perimeter. We'll see if the Roadrunners will be able to do so, or if they're going to try to force their way into the paint. Nice cat and mouse game going on early. Tremendous attack, but even better defense. Nice job of following the shot, but it's knocked away. So Ben Underwood knocking down the three, making his presence felt defensively there as well, with Mason Lockhart preparing to come back into the game. And Underwood was ready to come out the game for Lockhart. It seems like that's what will happen. So Ben Underwood will go to the bench. Mason Lockhart re-enters for the Johnson Royals. Mason Lockhart last season averaged around 18 points per game, 9 rebounds, a block as well, was first team all AAC, and a big reason why the Royals were able to make it to the national tournament by way of a dominant AAC tournament run that featured them making it all the way to the championship game. Re-entering the game for the Royals, number 3, Jamar Brown. Jamar Brown, formerly of Erskine College down there in South Carolina. Today, Johnson is without the services of number 25, Dallas Carball, their best outside shooter, a career 42% three-point shooter. Benson tried to get it up, but he couldn't do it, and that's going to be an over-the-back foul against Dalton State, number 32, Devin Geiger, the culprit. The defense has tightened up here for Johnson. Dalton State finding it more difficult to get downhill. Coda Benson trying to break down the defense, but the Johnson point of attack defenders doing a better job of staying in front. Lockhart getting a touch, and he gets fouled. When you have a guy like Mason Lockhart, you just want to give him a chance to touch the basketball. You just want to give him a chance to get a chance to see what it feels like, and then defensively, all eyes are on him. So you have guys trying to cut, guys trying to get open, trying to make plays off of the attention that he brings with just his mere presence. So now Lockhart has it at the top of the key and gives it off to Tucker Patterson. Patterson trying to work, gives it off to Lockhart. Lockhart in the post, facing up, takes a dribble, loses the basketball. Benson has it, Dalton State on the run. And the pass, man falling down, but was able to save it. And that was almost a comedy of errors for the Roadrunners, but somehow, some way, Danik is able to finish inside. 17-17, all square here in Waleska. Just under 11 minutes to play here in the first half. Very nice attack of the basket by Brown, but he can't get the lay-in and go. There was a lot of contact, but it seems like the refs, they're going to let him play in this one. The whistle appearing more like a postseason type of whistle where more physical contact is allowed, and I like that because you don't want to give up too many ticky-tack plays. You want to let the guys decide it on the floor. Now, if it's obvious, you got to call it. But a little tap here, a little shove there, it's never hurt anyone. No harm, no foul. Inbounding the basketball is Cross. Cross will give it to Brown. That one gets tipped away. Possession will stay with the Royals. Lockhart quiet so far offensively when it comes to scoring the basketball with 2 points, but as you can see, every time he touches the basketball, he has 10 eyes on him at all times. Again, a man coming over. Lockhart says it doesn't matter. He's able to knock down the mid-range jumper. Johnson back out in front. And even though he can hit that shot, that's a shot that Dalton State will live with. They want to try to make Lockhart beat them from the perimeter and eliminate those high percentage looks that he can create inside. This pass going now. Nice move in the post for Dalton State. Number 15, Miles Ceballos with the drop step and finish. 19-19, once again all square. Brown going to work. He gives it off the Cross. In the corner, nice save there for the Royals. Patterson, he can't save this one. The ball is now in the hands of the Roadrunners. They're trying to get out in front. Pass to the wing, open three-pointer, won't go. When Dalton State is able to force a turnover, when they're able to get a rebound with the guard, they're trying to push the pace. They want to get up and down the court as quick as possible. Patterson has it, and now back to Cross. Cross trying to go to work against Pettis. Cross is going to pull. This one won't go. Rebound to Ceballos. Again, the Roadrunners road running. We'll see what they can do here inside. And the guard, Raylan Berrien, will back it back out and give it off to Pettis. They'll reset. Nice cut from Pettis and the foul. And even in situations where your offense appears to break down, as we're going to have a break, even in situations where your offense breaks down, Dalton State always playing with pace, passing, cutting, trying to find ways to create high percentage looks. So we have a timeout here, the first under 12 timeout of the game. 19-19 all square between the Royals and the Roadrunners. Set to resume play here in Waleska, Georgia. The Johnson Royals and the Dalton State Roadrunners all tied up at 19 points apiece. And it's still early, just under 9 minutes to go, but it seems like we're in the midst of what's going to be an instant classic here in Game 1 of the Canyons Classic. Quaylen Pettis at the free throw line. Last season, a 60% free throw shooter. First one won't go for Pettis. Pettis has already been able to get downhill on multiple occasions, getting some nice lay-ins, some paint touches, and what that does is puts a ton of pressure on the interior defenders of the Royals. Pettis can't knock this one down. He goes 0 for 2 at the line. Jamar Brown bringing it up, getting it across the timeline. Some nice ball pressure from Jamori McDonald. Lockhart has it at the top of the key, trying to initiate offense. Downhill, pass into the corner, looking for Patterson. He wasn't there. Brown has it near the scorer's table. 5 seconds, 4. Brown's gonna have to go to work. Pull up, jumper, won't go. And here come the Roadrunners, pass ahead. Nice pass, nice finish. Roadrunners doing what they do best, getting out in transition and converting. 21-19, Roadrunners back out in front. Martin with it and gives it off to Lockhart. Lockhart still just 2 points so far in this game. Check that, 4 points in this game. Martin, the bump, can't finish, passes it out, tipped away. Here come the Roadrunners again. McDonald's gonna back this one out. Layup won't go. Lockhart challenged that one and was able to affect the shot. Those are the plays that don't show up on the stat sheet, so McDougal thought that he was going to be able to get an easy lay-in, but just Mason Lockhart being down there near the middle of the paint, forcing him to back the ball back into the backcourt, and he was able to challenge the next shot down low. Brown for 3. Can't get it to go. Pass to Pettis. Roadrunners trying to get out in transition again. Open 3 from the wing. Won't go. The bank's not open today. Patterson. Jumper. Can't get it to fall. It's a 3-point shootout right now. Neither team being able to get him to fall, but they're not afraid to let him fly. Martin trying to push the tempo inside. He gets fouled hard. So it will be 2 free throws coming up for the Spanish native, former St. Andrews Knight. Mateo Martin. The Spaniard at the free throw line. His first free throw won't go. Dalton's already played a game this season, that 124-88 victory over Oakwood. This is Johnson's first game, so both teams still in the earlier stages of the year trying to iron out some kinks. They want to establish an identity at this point in the year. These are always nice litmus test games, see where you can stack up. Martin knocks the next free throw down, 21-20, and the press from the Royals. Now the press can create turnovers, but it can also allow a team like Dalton State to get out and create plays off the secondary break. Wide open three, can't get it to fall. Dalton State's had some good looks from the perimeter. Those looks likely being created by the way that they've been attacking the paint. They just have not been able to get them to fall thus far. New man in for Johnson, Garrison Edie from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Edie in at point guard. Kick out, three ball, won't fall. Pushing the pace is Ceballos. Ceballos to Pettis. Pettis a nice lay-in for two. Quaylen Pettis again getting downhill and attacking. That's what he did a lot for the Roadrunners last season, and we're seeing him do that yet again this year in 2025. Lockhart with it near the wing, giving it off to Martin. Martin already has 2 threes in this one, and a deuce. Martin getting downhill and finishing inside. 23-22, Dalton State still out in front. Berrien bringing it across the timeline. Johnson back in man-to-man. Pass almost intercepted. Will go back into the hands of the Roadrunners. Ceballos attacking. Ceballos gets it to go. Miles Ceballos inside. In Dalton State, they have a ton of different players that are capable of putting the ball on the floor and making a play. Such a difficult team to guard. You can't put any quote-unquote lemon defender on those guys because they can make you pay. And the lay-in for Jacoby Strozier goes down. Figure if you have a player that you want to try to hide on defense, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide against the Roadrunners. What a nice cut for Dalton State. Jamori McDougald inside. Roadrunners getting anything they want so far in the paint, and they have an early 3-point lead. How will the Royals respond? We'll see. Set to resume play here in the Brown Athletics Center. 18th ranked Dalton State Roadrunners out in front, 27-24 against the Johnson Royals. Inside to Lockhart. Lockhart facing up. He's trying to get more involved in the offense. Makes a move and finishes inside. Does a little flex move as well. Lockhart now up to 6 points. Such a force down low. And here goes Johnson back into this matchup zone look. Ball gets into the corner. Dalton State. That's going to be too many steps. Jerron Briggs dragging that pivot foot, and a turnover for the Roadrunners. So That matchup zone look is what the Royals went to earlier in the first half to try to prevent the Roadrunners from getting into the paint and getting quality looks. Coda Benson back into the game for the Roadrunners. And we see the Royals again going back to that look, trying to force the Roadrunners to pull up from the perimeter where they have not had a ton of success today. Rebound Pettis. Roadrunners want to push the pace. Benson has it. And they're going to have to reset. Briggs inside, gets fouled. Too much contact by Garrison Edie. Again, what makes the Roadrunners so difficult to play defense against is the fact that they have 4 to 5 guys on the floor at all times who are capable of breaking the defense down and creating offense for themselves and others. When you have 4 different guys that can attack the defense, again, you can't have a smaller defender on the floor. You can't have a guy that you want to hide on defense. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide against a team like Dalton State. So now the onus falls on Johnson to try to keep them away from the paint and force them to take more shots from deep. Roadrunners have had some nice looks from 3, but none of them have been able to fall. So that's going to be the way that you're going to stop them in this one. Try to make them beat you from deep. Underwood in at the 4, playing alongside Lockhart. Martin inside, takes the contact. It doesn't matter. He finishes through the contact. 28-28, back all square here in Waleska. Pettis pulls up from deep. Can't get it to fall. And now it's the Royals trying to give Dalton State a taste of their own medicine. They're playing with pace. Underwood trying to find Lockhart. Lockhart in the post, and he gets fouled. That's too much contact from number 12, Trip Beatty. Now on the flip side, Johnson can start to impose their will inside using all the size at their disposal. Ben Underwood, even though he's playing the 4 and he's an outside shooting type of player, he's 6'8". He's the tallest player on the floor. Mason Lockhart, 6'7", around 240 pounds. They can pound the paint by utilizing all the size at their disposal, going up against the much smaller Dalton State front line. Now taking it out on the baseline is Martin. He's going to hit Strozier. Dalton State now in a zone look. Underwood thought about a 3, but thinks better of it. Cross. Strozier. Side dribble. Pull up is good. That was a nice jumper there. A bit of a Jamal Crawford impersonation from Jacoby Strozier. The Atlanta, Georgia native gets it to fall. Johnson back out in front. Both teams trying to go zone and throw a different look out. 3-pointer won't go. It's been tough sledding from deep for the Dalton State Roadrunners in the early stages of this one. Cross is going to hit Strozier. Strozier's feeling it. Kicks downhill. Ball gets tipped off of his leg, and it will go back into the hands of the Roadrunners. Strozier had a nice side crossover and was able to knock down the mid-range jumper. That, again, looked like shades of Jamal Crawford on that one. Corner 3, Benson gets it to go, and the harm. 4-point play opportunity for Coda Benson, and boy, did the Dalton State Roadrunners need that one. They've had a few open looks from deep. They have not been able to get them to fall, but Coda Benson able to not only knock down the corner 3-pointer, but have a chance to add one more. Roadrunners pull back out in front. It's 31-30. And make it 32-30. Coda Benson doing good on the 4-point play chance. Right around 2 minutes remaining in the first half. 32-30, the Roadrunners out in front. Lockhart hits Underwood, tried to hit Martin on the one more, but Pettis zooming from the wing to the corner, knocking it away. 2 new players in the game for Johnson. 2 returning starters, Jamar Brown and Caden Wendell back into the game, joining Martin, Cross, and Lockhart. Lockhart guarded by Benson at the top of the key. He's going to give it to Wendell. Benson steals it. Benson out in front, all alone, and hits the layup with a little kiss off the glass. 34-30. Roadrunners out in front. Benson trying to force some pressure at the point of attack. Cross gets inside and a foul. Livingston Cross trying to just bum rush his way through the paint again. Both teams going with some different defensive looks, trying to knock off the offensive rhythm that both sides have created. Cross like a bull in the china shop, just trying to bum rush his way into the paint. Able to draw the foul. Now he has 2 free throws to show for it. Yes, first one goes for Livingston Cross. New man entering the game. Trip Beatty will exit. Varun Danik will enter. Danik, 6'10", the native of Atlanta, Georgia. Two for 2 from the free throw line for Livingston Cross. Benson forced to pick up his dribble. He's able to give it. We'll see what Dalton State's going to do here. Johnson back in a man look. Pull-up jumper will go. Three-pointer knocks down for Quaylen Pettis. Dalton State, they've been able to make plays inside, but if they can get those three-point jumpers to fall, this is a totally different game. They become even more difficult to guard. Offensive foul for the Royals, and here come the Roadrunners. This is where they start to make their mark, where they start to create some separation. So good at being able to attack and getting downhill. But when those three-point jumpers start to fall, this team becomes nearly impossible to guard. Johnson back into that zone look, that 1-2-2 zone with the long arms of Livingston Cross waiting and willing at the point of attack. Dalton State trying to get into the middle of that zone. Underwood playing defense. The ball's knocked away by Cross. Whenever Johnson feels like they're in trouble, when they feel like Dalton State is getting too much, too easy inside, they go into that zone look. Then Underwood at the elbow, trying to attack. The kick, the turnover. Dalton State has it. Shot clock turned off. 20 seconds remaining here in the first half. Jerron Briggs is going to slow it down and give it to Coda Benson. Benson's had a phenomenal first half for the Roadrunners, trying to put an exclamation mark on it. Turnaround, in trouble. Pettis, scoop layup will go for Quaylen Pettis, and that's how we will end the first half. It was back and forth, a seesaw affair for most of the first half, but Dalton State creating some separation late. They're ahead by 7, 39-32. It's a good one, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the Canyons Classic. Welcome back to the Brown Athletic Center here in Waleska, Georgia. The Dalton State Roadrunners, the 18th ranked team in the country, out in front going up against the Johnson Royals by a score of 39-32. Action has been fast-paced on both sides. Dalton State and Johnson, it was almost deadlocked for the entirety of the first half, but in the latter stages, the Roadrunners were able to create some separation. Quaylen Pettis right now leading the way for the Roadrunners with 13 points, 6 of 9 from the field. He's been able to get downhill and make plays early and often. Meanwhile, for the Johnson Royals, Mateo Martin, 5 of 6 from the field. He has a three-pointer as well, 12 points. He's leading the way for the Royals. We'll see what Johnson's going to do as this game continues. Big point of emphasis for them is going to be trying to keep the Roadrunners out of the paint. They've been able to get a paint touch nearly every single time down. If the Royals are going to win, that's going to have to change. So the Royals are going to be able to strike first in this one. Pettis ripping it away early on. First possession of the second half was due to go to the Johnson Royals, but Quaylen Pettis had other plans. He's been all over the floor on both sides of the basketball, able to get downhill. He had a three-pointer that went down as well, also making his presence felt defensively. Coda Benson's been able to make plays utilizing dribble penetration. Inside. Spinning, can't get it to go. Lockhart with the board. Strozier has it on the wing, being guarded by Benson. Mason Lockhart can't get the three-pointer to fall. Now Mason Lockhart, again, he can hit those shots. He's not a bad jump shooter, but whenever he's taking threes, you have to feel good about what you're doing defensively. That means he's not forcing his will inside and able to create high percentage shots. You would much rather see him try to get hot from deep than try to dominate you down low. Jerron Briggs at the free throw line for the Roadrunners. First one. No, won't go down. But just look at who the Roadrunners have on the floor right now. Coda Benson, Quaylen Pettis, Jerron Briggs, and Raylan Berrien. All four of those guys very capable of attacking, getting downhill, and breaking down the defense. When you have four playmakers on the floor, who do you put guys on? Who do you try to hide defensively? You can't really do much. Stolen by Berrien, and he finishes with some flair. Jerron Briggs throwing it down for Dalton State, and the Roadrunners now up by double digits. They have a 10-point lead. They built some late momentum in the first half, and they're carrying it over in the second. Floater goes for Caden Wendell, and that stops some of the bleeding. It was a 10-0 run that carried over into the beginning stages of the second half, but Caden Wendell able to put the kibosh on it. But now Briggs is feeling it, spinning, passing, and turning it over. Lockhart had it and gave it off to Strozier. Jacoby Strozier inside, kicks it out. Pass to Lockhart, who finishes with the lay-in. Mason Lockhart up to 8 points in this one. 42-36, advantage Roadrunners. We saw Johnson go to that matchup zone look at times in the first half. We'll see if they go back to it here in the second. Benson working, turnaround Jay, can't get the high archer to go. Jamar Brown with it for the Royals. It gets tipped away. Really active hands here in the beginning of the second half for Dalton State. Already forcing 2 turnovers, knocking that one away. They're putting some ball pressure on these Johnson Royal ball handlers. So Jamar Brown is going to set up the offense for the Royals. He's being guarded by Benson. Pick and roll here between Brown and Lockhart, and he gets the mid-range jumper to go down. Utilizing a nice screen from Mason Lockhart, and Jamar Brown able to do the rest. 42-38, the Royals now on a 6-0 run. Benson couldn't get his shot to fall. The follow won't go. It's loose, and it goes to the Royals. Out to Strozier. Strozier trying to attack, and he will finish inside. Jacoby Strozier getting the lay in to go. An 8-0 run from the Johnson Royals, and an answer. Dalton State went up by double digits. They had a 10-point lead at the beginning of this second half, but the Johnson Royals able to respond with an 8-0 run. The score is 42-40. The Roadrunner lead now down to just 2 points. Pettis in the post, trying to go to work against Brown, and Brown fouls him. What Dalton State lacks in conventional size down low, they make up for it with some length and versatility along the perimeter. Quaylen Pettis listed as a guard as he turns this one over. Nice in and out dribble from Wendell. And Wendell gets fouled, trying to force the issue. Jerron Briggs just a little bit too small down low, trying to stop him from finishing. But what Dalton State doesn't have in conventional size down low, they make up for it with their length and versatility on the perimeter. They have guys like Quaylen Pettis, like Coda Benson, who may not be traditional guys you would expect to see make plays in the post, but they're posting guys up trying to make things happen for their team. Johnson has cut the Dalton State lead to just 1 with a chance to tie it up. And there it is, 42-42. The Royals have erased that Dalton State lead in a mere 3 minutes. 16:40 left to play here in the game. It's 42-42, all square here in Waleska. And you see there, Raylan Berrien calling for it, pulling it, and can't get it to go. Dalton State, they've been dominant down low, a little bit less dominant from the perimeter. The pass inside, Brown can't get it to fall. Rebounds loose, Lockhart with the O board. Johnson trying to go out in front. The momentum has swung strictly into the direction of the Royals, but that's going to be too many steps. A travel called against Jamar Brown, and he can't believe it. He's not in agreement with that call, but all 3 officials seemingly saying, hey, you move that pivot foot, you have to take that one. 42-42. Roadrunners reeling. Pettis has it. Benson being guarded by Lockhart has the switch, but they were able to switch back. Benson trying, Benson shooting, Benson scoring. A score and 1 more for Coda Benson. He's going to get a chance to go to the line for the 3-point play opportunity. Coda Benson with a nice turnaround jumper. Johnson's done a better job as this game has gone on of trying to keep Coda Benson from getting all the way into the paint. But now he's showing off the offensive bag with that turnaround J. So it's 45-42, Dalton State back out in front. We'll see if they try to make a concerted effort of getting Mason Lockhart more involved. And he has it now, facing up, forcing his way into the paint, finishing, and a foul. Mason Lockhart getting into the paint, scoring, and now a chance for 1 more. When in doubt, get the ball to your best player. And for Johnson, that's big number 1 in the middle. He's taken a few jumpers in this one, but you feel like he's almost bailing the defense out when he does that. Mason Lockhart at his best, getting downhill, trying to make plays in the post. Chance to tie this one up. And he does. Mason Lockhart tying it up. 45-45, all square once more. And here comes that press from Johnson. They're able to break it easily inside, trying to climb Mount Lockhart, and he cannot do so. Jerron Briggs attempted to go right through the chest of Mason Lockhart, but Lockhart able to challenge the shot and force it to go errant. So Dalton State's going to take it out along the baseline. Pettis attacking, tried to lay it in, but he gets fouled. He'll have a chance at the line for 2 free throws.
Johnson University foul number 1, Mason.
And Quaylen Pettis did a ton of that in the first half. Not as much so far here in the first 5 minutes of the second. A quick and shifty dribbler, able to get downhill quick, fast, and in a hurry. Pettis knocking down the free throw. He's now 1 for 3 at the line. Pettis gets the friendly roll. 47-45, Roadrunners back out in front. Jamar Brown's going to bring it across the timeline for the Royals. Gives it to Wendell. You see, they're looking for Lockhart early in these possessions, trying to get him as many touches as possible. Lockhart, one-on-one in the post, making a move. What a shot from Mason Lockhart, falling away, able to hit the turnaround. Jay, 47-47. It's a tie game once more. Quaylen Pettis one-on-one on the wing. Quaylen Pettis going to work inside. He can't get it to go. But a rebound for Dalton State and a foul. Inserted into the game, Varun Danik. He's the tallest player on the court at 6'10". He was able to get the O board. He went back up, couldn't get the lay-in to go, but now he'll have a chance at 2 freebies. Mason Lockhart, though, starting to heat up for the Johnson Royals. He's up to 12 points in this one. That one rolling off for Varun Danik. So Dalton State trying to answer. Johnson climbing all the way back. They went down 10 early in the second half, but they utilized a 10-0 run to get back into this one. It's 47-47 all square. Instant classic on our hands here in game 1 of the Canyons Classic. Welcome back to the Brown Athletic Center here in Waleska, Georgia. It's 47-47. The 18th ranked Dalton State Roadrunners tied up with the Johnson Royals. Varun Danik, one more shot at the free throw line, trying to put the Roadrunners back out in front. No, it doesn't go. Livingston Cross just inserted into the game, makes his presence felt with the rebound. Jamar Brown taking it across the timeline. Jamori McDougall back into the game for Dalton State. Patterson going to work. Martin inside. And gets bumped by Danik. The man who got things going early on for Johnson was Mateo Martin. So you would like to see him be more involved as this game continues. He's been quiet. Throwing it up for Lockhart, but he can't get it to go. Here come the Roadrunners, but the ball is lost. It will go back to the Dalton State Roadrunners now. To my untrained eye over here near the scores table, that initially looked like it went off the hands of Ceballos, but instead Dalton State is going to keep possession. You can see the face of Ceballos. He knows he got away with one there. Nonetheless, Dalton State will retain possession. Quaylen Pettis passing it to Benson. Benson thought about a three. Benson giving it to Danik in the paint. Danik going to work against Martin. Danik drop step. Danik gets it to fall off the glass. I guess the bank is open. 49-47. Roadrunners back out in front. Brown bringing it across the timeline. Hitting cross. And Danik trying his best to stay out in front of Mason Lockhart. He has about 3 inches on Lockhart, but he's surrendering around 25 to 30 pounds in this matchup. Not a terrific one-on-one matchup for Lockhart as Cross gets into the paint off the cut and finishes for the deuce. There's not a terrific physical matchup for Mason Lockhart because of how much he weighs and what he can do moving guys in the paint. So Danik just trying his best to stay out in front. And that's the switch that they want. Pettis being guarded by Lockhart. Pettis going to work, gives it off. Lockhart's out of the paint. Dalton State trying to attack, and they do so. Sabalas getting fouled. Any time that Mason Lockhart gets switched onto a guard, it can be easy for that guard to say, hey, I have a big man on me. Let me try to make a move. But instead, Pettis doing the smart thing of giving it off to another guy and allowing him to take advantage. Without the shot blocker in the paint, it makes it just a little bit easier to force your way inside. So Sabalos was able to draw the foul, and he hits the first of 2 free throws. .50-50 trip there. 50-49 is our score. Roadrunners out in front by a single point. Patterson has it on the wing, gives it to Brown. Now in the corner cross. 2 bodies surrounding Mason Lockhart when it looked like he was going to get it in the post. Martin, nice pass, cross for 3. Can't get it to go. Ball is loose, and it goes off of the Roadrunners. Terrific pass, hitting Cross, who was wide open on the wing. Might have been too wide open. It was such a good pass that it may have surprised Cross. Patterson with it on the wing. Brown now has it. Now a zone look for Dalton State. 3 ball. Won't go. It's tipped, and it goes back to the Royals. So Johnson crashing that offensive glass. The ball gets tipped away twice now by the Roadrunners. The Royals are going to have a 3rd opportunity on this possession. Cross inside, rejected by Danik. But Sabalos stepping out of bounds. Possession once again will remain in the hands of the Royals. Cross has gotten behind the defense a few times, cutting on the out-of-bounds play, but Danik able to force him and turn him back. Nonetheless, ball will remain in the hands of the Royals, and Cross will exit this game. Cross going out, Caden Wendell coming in. Mateo Martin inbounding. Up to Lockhart. He has it, skying above the defense, but loses the basketball. Roadrunners trying to push the pace. McDougal inside, can't get it to fall. Lockhart with the board, and Patterson's going to slow it back down. He gives it to Jamar Brown. Secondary break opportunity here for the Roadrunners. Patterson, 3, can't get it to fall. Ball is loose. Roadrunners running. Pettis has it. Pettis, what a lay-in. Quaylen Pettis getting downhill and finishing. Dalton State once again finding their way in transition. It's 52-49, Roadrunners out in front. Brown with it. The 3 ball, Wendell can't get it to go. Sabalos gets it, passes it ahead to McDougal. Pettis for 3. Can't get it to fall, but it doesn't even matter because he stepped on the line. Out of bounds, ball will go back to the Royals. On that last possession, Johnson had 4 chances to get points. They missed 3 consecutive shots, and Mason Lockhart losing it on the final opportunity with the turnover. Martin going to work, falls down. Pass to Brown. Brown for 3. Won't go. Rebound Pettis. Pettis out in front to Benson. Benson gets it to fall. D. Sells takes the contact, and it's a score and one more for Coda Benson. Coda Benson from Tucson, Arizona, finishing the lay-in over the outstretched arms of 2 defenders. Chance at a 3-point play. Yes, Coda Benson with the 3-point play, 55-49. Roadrunners taking some momentum back from the Royals. Zone look with Coda Benson at the point of attack. Benson and McDougal, the nice perimeter defensive combo. Corner, it's blocked. Ceballos with the block. So we're gonna have a clock malfunction here. Ben Underwood re-enters the game for the Royals. I do like the tandem of Ben Underwood and Mason Lockhart together because of that size and versatility. Underwood thought about a 3. Strozier, step back, won't go. Underwood tips it, and Benson corrals it. Coda Benson bringing it up. Benson going to work, loses it, but he's fouled. Coda Benson tried to break down the defense. Johnson's had a tough time staying in front of him. He has been absolutely terrific here in this game for the Dalton State Roadrunners. Coda Benson, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for the Roadrunners. Just an all-around awesome game so far for him. He's now up to 20 points today, and the Roadrunners extend their lead to 8. Teo Martin with it. Underwood on the wing, fakes the pass, hits Lockhart, and he jams it home. Great pass from Ben Underwood to Mason Lockhart, and that's why you play those 2 big guys together. Ben Underwood is so versatile, can not only knock down the 3 ball, but he's a nice passer as a big as well. Danik back into the ball game for Dalton State, trying to match with some size. Pettis for 3, can't get it to fall. Underwood with the board, and he gets fouled. Johnson playing those 2 big guys together in Underwood and Lockhart. The response for Dalton State and head coach Alex Ireland is to insert Varun Danik to try to match up size with size. Garrison Edey will bring it up for the Royals. Teo Martin with it. Zone look here for Dalton State. Underwood at the top of the key. He's going to work. He's now at the 5. Garrison Edey knocks down the 3-point jumper. 57-54. Royals cut the lead to just 3. So when Ben Underwood plays the 5 position, your offense now morphs into a 5-out look. Very tough on defenders with 5 guys capable of knocking down outside jumpers. Coda Benson trying to go to work once more. Passing it to Ceballos, who finishes the scoop layup. Coda Benson creating that with the dribble penetration. Ceballos with a nice cut and finishing for the deuce. Martin the cross in the corner. Edey looking, Edey shooting, Edey missing. Danik with the board. Back to Coda Benson now being guarded by Cross. Right now it's Coda Benson's world on offense. They're allowing him to dictate every single possession. Pettis thought about a three, tried to hit Danik. He turns it over, or does he? Danik on the ground. Both teams fighting for it. And it's going to be called a jump ball. Possession arrow will go. So Dalton State will get the ball. Media timeout. 59-54. Roadrunners still out in front. Welcome back to the Brown Athletics Center here in Waleska, Georgia. The Johnson Royals currently trailing the 18th ranked team in the country, the Dalton State Roadrunners, by a score of 59-54. Dalton State looked like they were poised to run away with it early in the second half. Johnson responded with a 10-0 run to tie the game up. Inside, and the deuce will go for number 32, Devin Geiger. So Dalton State getting back to their ways of forcing their way into the paint. And here comes that zone. It's giving Johnson some trouble in this one. Edie, Underwood working, spinning, passing. Great find from Ben Underwood, hitting number 10, Caden Wendell, for the deuce. 61-56. Ben Underwood hasn't done a ton that will show up in the stat sheet, but his presence has definitely been a net positive for the Johnson Royals here in this one. Now trying to attack. The lay-in will go. Raylan Berrien getting all the way into the paint and finishing with the right hand. It's so difficult to guard this Dalton State basketball team with the way that they have so many different guys that can create dribble penetration. Underwood thought about a three and draws the foul. Now you have to jump when Ben Underwood goes for that little up fake because he's capable of knocking down the jumper, but you leave yourself liable for fouls like that one. And Ben Underwood's shift is done. He did a ton of nice work for Johnson, but he exits for Mason Lockhart. Edie hitting Wendell. Inside, Mateo Martin, spin move. What a nice move, Mateo Martin. How do you do? Hitting it, 5-point game again for the Royals. Mateo Martin putting them in a spin cycle and finishing inside. Raylan Berrien, guarded by Lockhart. He wants to take Lockhart. Blocked by Mason Lockhart. Cross, pass, and a chance out in front is Devin Geiger. Hey, Devin Geiger with the jam. 65-58. And that's a tall guy's dream, getting out on the break and seeing no one. What a nice shot from Mateo Martin. It's been quiet for him after that fast start in the first half, but he hits the deep wing jumper. 4-point game. Johnson still hanging around. Dalton State trying to put the finishing touches on yet another victory. Set to resume play. The score is 65-61. The Dalton State Roadrunners still out in front. The Johnson Royals still threatening. We'll see if Johnson goes back to that zone look to try to throw off the game plan of Dalton State. Try to stop them from getting all the way into the paint. What a pass. The finish won't go, but Geiger can't get the follow to go. Ball is loose. Who's going to corral it? It's going to be Mateo Martin. Martin pushing the pace, and he gets fouled. Raylan Berrien can't believe the call. Mateo Martin did appear to be a bit out of control, so Raylan Berrien might have a case for himself, but nonetheless, Mateo Martin drawing the foul. That is the 7th team foul for Dalton State. So a 1-and-1 situation here. Mateo Martin going to the line. Martin's been quiet since that initial surge that he had in the early stages of the first half. But now with around 6 minutes remaining in the second, he's trying to get himself back going. Had a deep jumper that went down and a 1-and-1 chance here. Gets a nice roll to get the first one to fall. (65-62). 2-for-2 trip from Mateo Martin. So Johnson's now on the 1-and-1. Dalton State, they're in the double bonus. 65-63, 2-point game. Coda Benson giving it off to Jerron Briggs. Dalton State in that zone look, trying to muck up the game. Interior pass, Benson, 3-ball. Can't get it to fall. The rebound goes to Dalton State. Briggs trying to work. Pass, wing, McDougal the jumper, won't fall. Geiger almost an offensive rebound, and the ball will go back to the Dalton State Roadrunners. Now, in NAIA basketball, we have it in football, but in basketball, we do not yet have video replay. Would love to see the replay on that one. Not saying the refs made a bad call, but just wanted to see that one again. So tough on the refs to make judgment calls in those situations. Briggs gets fouled. And I'll say that NAIA basketball referees probably have one of the hardest jobs in America because they do not have the benefit of replay at their disposal. So every call that they make, they have to live and die with what their eyes tell them. Sometimes when play is moving so fast, it's difficult to be able to tell. Ron Briggs hitting the first of 2 free throws. 5 minutes and 29 seconds remaining. Roadrunners out in front. Royals still a threat. Second free throw doesn't go down for Briggs. It's a 3-point ball game. So Garrison Edey being guarded by Santonio McDaniel. Mateo Martin has it, tried to dump it in the Lockhart, and Geiger gets called for the foul. Geiger can't believe it. Dalton State, they do not have a great physical matchup for Mason Lockhart. They have tall guys, but they do not have big guys that can really knock Lockhart off of his spot. So you're asking a lot out of your big men to try to stay in front of him. Lockhart's been able to take advantage of drawing a few fouls down low in the paint. Double bonus here. It's not the double bonus, it's the 1-and-1. Mason Lockhart can't get it to fall, and the ball going back to the Roadrunners. Pettis into the corner from McDaniel. Attacking, laying, it won't go. Jerron Briggs can't get it to fall. Edey wanting to push the pace. He's gonna slow it back down. Ben Underwood has been reinserted into the ball game. Lockhart, that pass was intended for Lockhart. Livingston Cross tried to throw it, but nobody was home. He was looking for Mason Lockhart. Livingston Cross, he believes that somebody tipped it. The referees do not agree with him. It will go back to the Dalton State Roadrunners. Very entertaining ball game on our hands, folks. Stay tuned with us for the finish. 66-63. Dalton State out in front. Welcome back to the Brown Athletic Center here in Waleska, Georgia. 66-63. The Dalton State Roadrunners out in front against the Johnson Royals. The Johnson Royals are still hanging around, but right now the Roadrunners making those key plays to keep their lead safe. Quaylon Pettis and Coda Benson leading the way so far for the Roadrunners. Coda Benson's being trusted with making decisions every time down. Meanwhile, Quaylon Pettis has been able to make plays getting all the way into the paint. It's been a lot more difficult to get into the paint, though, in these last few possessions ever since Johnson switched to this zone look. Pettis thought about a three. Corner, tray ball, won't go. McDaniel had a nice look. Benson's going to slow it down. He pulls it. He can't get it to fall. Mason Lockhart with the rebound. Two nice looks from deep for Dalton State, but both of them not going their way. Garrison Edey trying to go to work against McDaniel. Edey receives a double screen. Pass to Underwood. Underwood looking for Lockhart. Couldn't find it because of the defense from Danik. Varun Danik battling down low with Mason Lockhart. Ball will stay in the hands of the Royals, but Varun Danik fighting with Lockhart to keep him off of his spot. We'll have another timeout here, 66-63. When we come back, the Royals will have the ball with a chance to cut the lead to 1. Fans are having fun here in the Brown Athletic Center. It's 66-63. The 18th ranked Roadrunners out in front against the Royals, but Johnson, they're going to get an opportunity to maybe cut the lead to 1, maybe even tie the ball game up. We'll see. 4:07 remaining in this one. The Royals have possession with 11 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Mateo Martin inbounding, finds Edey for 3. Garrison Edey knocking down the tray ball. 66-66, all square here in Waleska. 4 minutes remaining. That zone has been the difference for Johnson. They've been able to keep the Roadrunners out of the paint for the better part of the last 3 minutes. Berrien trying to break down the defense. Benson thought about a jumper. Passing it to Briggs. Briggs to Pettis, but he can't keep it in his hands. Possession back in the hands of the Royals. Mateo Martin's going to inbound it to Garrison Edey, who knocked down a clutch jumper to tie it up at 66. And the Royals now miraculously with a chance to take the lead. Garrison Edey going to work against Coda Benson. Underwood has it. Underwood thought about a step back. Instead, he hits Lockhart. Lockhart in the post. Underwood, 3-ball. Can't get it to fall. Briggs now trying to push the pace. Dalton State, they want to try to attack before the defense can get set. giving Briggs a ton of space. The bank is open today, says Jerron Briggs. He hits the 3 ball, 69-66, an answer from the Roadrunners. Garrison Edey bringing it back up. Edey going to work. Lockhart out at the 3-point line. Mateo Martin now with it, receiving a screen from Lockhart. Mateo Martin using his size, getting all the way into the paint and finishing over Jerron Briggs. Coda Benson now going to work once more. Johnson back in that zone look with the long arms of Mateo Martin at the top of it. On the wing is Raylan Berrien. Pettis. Benson. Yes, Coda Benson over Mason Lockhart. 71-68. Back and forth we go. A seesaw affair has taken place here in the Brown Athletic Center. Mateo Martin with it on the wing, and he swings it to Jacoby Strozier. Underwood for 3. Can't get it to fall. Raylan Berrien with the rebound, and he's going to slow it back down for the Roadrunners. And a timeout, a great timeout there for Dalton State. They're going to try to calm things back down. A minute 42 remaining. The Roadrunners out in front by 3.
42 on the clock.
Welcome back to the Brown Athletic Center here in Waleska, Georgia. 71-68. The 18th ranked Dalton State Roadrunners in a barn burner with the Johnson Royals right now. Minute 42 remaining, just under 2 minutes. And in the words of Magic Johnson, we are in winning time, folks. This is where every single play matters, every single possession matters. And generally, in gotta-have-it moments, Dalton State has entrusted Coda Benson with the basketball. So we'll see what they do here. Raylan Berrien, it appears, will receive it out of the timeout. And Briggs gives it to Berrien. Mateo Martin out in front at the point of attack. Johnson back in man-to-man. Look for Dalton State to try to get downhill. Berrien tried to get downhill there. Kicks it out. Pettis for 3. What a shot from Quaylen Pettis. 74-68. Dalton State out in front. Garrison Edey with the basketball. Edey rejected by Varun Danik. Corner, Garrison Edey. He can't get it to fall. Jerron Briggs is going to slow it down. What a turn of events for the Roadrunners. And a foul. Johnson now in a situation where they're going to have to intentionally foul the Roadrunners. Quaylen Pettis, ice in his veins, a clutch jumper from the wing to put the Roadrunners up by 6. Garrison Edey could not answer, and now it's Jerron Briggs at the line trying to extend the Roadrunner lead. He does just that, knocking down the first one. 75-68, Roadrunners out in front. Briggs. Yes, Jerron Briggs knocking down 2. 76-68. Royals on their last breath. Martin attacking, loses it, but gets fouled by Raylan Berrien. And Raylan Berrien has had some very entertaining reactions when it comes to a few of these fouls being called. You can tell that he does not think too fondly of this officiating crew. That's going to be Raylan Berrien's last foul of the game. He fouls out. Now into the game will be Jamori McDougald for Dalton State. One and one for Martin, leaves the first one short. Coda Benson has it. When the game was on the line, Dalton State made the plays that Johnson couldn't make, and that was the difference. Benson has it. They're going to have to foul. Pass. Briggs gives it to Pettis. Pettis, side to side dribble. Gets it to go. And that's going to be all she wrote, folks. Quaylon Pettis putting the finishing touches on the second win of the season for the Dalton State Roadrunners. Mateo Martin's step back jumper won't fall. Edie with the board. Cross with the lay-in, but it's going to be too little too late here in the first game of the Canyons Classic. Quaylon Pettis, the man of the hour for the Dalton State Roadrunners. 22 points, 4 rebounds. He knocked down a pair of threes, but none bigger than the one to put the Roadrunners up by 3 late in the second half. (79-70) Johnson. They gave Dalton State all they can handle, and you can tell why Johnson's going to be a force in the Appalachian Athletic Conference. They absolutely comported themselves well against a top 25 opponent. So Garrison Edie's going to bring it up. Wendell, swing. Strozier knocking down the 3 ball, and that's going to be the final. Very well played game here in game 1 of the Canyons Classic, but after 2 halves of basketball, it's going to be the Dalton State Roadrunners coming out with the victory, 80-73. The Roadrunners finish, and they are now